Hey guys, Professor O'Kane here. Today we're going to be talking about 14-time Grammy winner. It's a lot of Grammys. 2018 Pulitzer Prize winner, as if the 14 Grammys weren't enough, Kendrick Lamar. I was on my way to the university and I heard the reviewer just extolling his greatness and just pouring over the album. So I figured, this is something I really need to check out. And the first song I heard was United in Grief. When I was finished with that song, I felt like I was sitting at the feet of giants. Now you might notice I used the word giants and not giant. Although Kendrick Lamar is the lyric genius and virtuosic rapper, there are many things behind all of that need to have a light shed on them. Now, my goal is not to cheapen the song by saying, oh yeah, look at all the collaborators. If you've been following Kendrick Lamar for any amount of time, you know that he's no stranger to collaborating. When I was researching the credits of the song, I found a few different assertions on who did what. I'm sure we can make guesses on who did what, but it's not the crux of this video. So before we get to the crux of this video, we do need to talk about the co-writers. Singer-songwriter Sam Dew is said to have co-written the song with Lamar. He's also a great singer. He's written for Marsha Ambrosius, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, Mary J. Blige, and Jessie Ware. Kendrick goes on to stack this song with amazing talent. Songwriter Tim Maxey has written for Trey Songz, Baby Rose, Childish Major, Earth Gang. There's also Sounwave, aka Mark Anthony Spears. Both of those Grammys he's won with Kendrick. He is also a Compton native. We have Jason Pounds, aka J Pounds. There's also a production team called Beach Noise, and that consists of brothers Jake and Jake Cosich and Matt Schaeffer. Last and definitely not least is an extraordinary artist. Actually, he's a multidisciplinary artist, but as a pianist and songwriter, Duval Timothy is absolutely sublime. You guys need to check out his music. It should be very clear to you now that if you take a great song and you put it in that kind of environment with so many brilliant musical minds, the chances of having a very good outcome is quite likely. The chances of creating a masterful piece of art, well, it happened.
I hope you find some peace of mind in this lifetime.
Tell them.
So there's male voices singing in unison in falsetto. Actually, it sounds like Sam Dew's voice. There's no vibrato in the first phrase. In the second phrase, there's a slight little shimmer. And the other thing that I hear is this gorgeous reverb. It reminds me of the kind of reverb that you would find on a vintage Lexicon 480L. And it's just gorgeous.
Tell them the truth.
I hope you find some paradise.
Tell them the truth.
So then we have the voices split up into fourths and fifths. Sometimes fifths and fourths, that's how the voicing starts out in the beginning. And then it goes to fourths and fifths. If you want to play it, here's the tablature. You would have to tune your guitar down a whole step. If you don't tune your guitar down a whole step, you just have to play the E flat off of the fourth string, which sounds a little bit weaker because it goes up instead of down. Now, something that drove me a little batty in this section was how those two sections were linked rhythmically. I counted it over and over and over, and every time I got to the second section, my foot was on the upbeat while they were on the downbeat. The closest I could get this notated accurately was 3 bars of 3, a bar of 4, a bar of 3, a bar of 3/16, a bar of 2, then back into the 3/4 stuff.
I hope you find some peace of mind in this lifetime.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 2 3 1.
I hope you find some paradise.
It's pretty close. Do I really think that they put in a 3/16 bar? No, I don't. I think that what they did was they had the sections done and they just put the regions together in a way that sounded great.
Tell them the truth.
I hope you find some paradise.
Tell them the truth. Tell them you're...
And if we backtrack, we can hear dun 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 dun. Definitely tapping out the subdivision of that particular tempo.
Tell them you're...
Is there anything that draws a listener in more than having somebody say something but get caught off in the middle?
Tell them you're...
I've been going through something. 1,855 days. I've been going through something. Be afraid.
What is a bitch?
There we have a G major moving to an A major flat 5 chord. I am not a lyric prophet. We're going to use the lyrics as musical event markers. We'll also be checking out musical events that respond to the lyrics.
A man in his feelings with bitter nerve. What is a woman that really hurt? A demon, you better off killing her. What is a relative make?
That big boom when he says killing her. That bass drum sound, which is going to repeat again, adds a lot of punctuation to the phrase.
What is a relative? Make a repetitive narratives on how you did it first. That is a predator in reverse. All of your presidency with thirst.
The cross stick with delay is repeating in the same subdivision that Kendrick is rapping in.
That is a predator in reverse. All of your presidency with thirst. What is a neighborhood reputable? That is a snitch on a pedestal. What is a house?
We have the cross stick again and the bass drum. From the beginning of the verse, there are reverse samples just sparsely laid underneath his vocals, and as it gets towards the end of the verse, they become more and more chaotic, occupying both extremes of the stereo spectrum.
What is a rapper with jewelry? A way that I show my maturity. What if I call on security? That mean I'm calling on God for purity.
The crescendo at the very end of the verse is very interesting because it's a crescendo of one horn, which is actually quite unique and very effective, which pushes us into the next section.
What if I call on security? That mean I'm calling on God for purity. I wanna get me a therapist. I can debate all my theories and sharing it. Whoa, consolidate all my comparisons, humbling up because time was imperative. Whoa, started to feel like it's only one answer to everything. I don't know where it is. Whoa, popping a bottle with Claritin. Whoa, is it my head or my arrogance? Whoa, shaking and moving like what am I doing? I'm flipping my.
Okay, so it sounds like almost a jazz piano trio. It feels like upright bass. You can hear some kind of tom fills in the way back. You hear those luscious chords, beautiful touch. I think that it's, like I said before, Duval Timothy. Juxtaposed over that are these very harsh reverse samples. And of course, Kendrick giving a masterclass on the use of triplets, where to leave space, where to accentuate. There are so many different elements occurring at the same time that it's fascinating to listen to. Not to mention what he's saying.
Moving like what am I doing? Whoa, popping a bottle with Claritin. Whoa, is it my head or my arrogance? Whoa, shaking and moving like what am I doing? I'm flipping my time through the Rolodex, indulging myself in my life.
Some cello.
My music, the word that I'm in is a cul-de-sac. The word that we in is just menacing.
Hi-hat.
Portray the religionist. I wake in the morning, another appointment.
More chaos.
Just listening.
And then we have that beat, which was absolutely confusing to me. And everybody glosses over the obvious tempo change and the samba rhythm that's going on here. Well, kind of like a samba, but it's way dirtier than that. Not to mention that the loop is overdriven. Something I did to better understand where one was to cue forward in the song and listen for where the piano came back in.
Hold me captive. I grieve different. I grieve different.
That's where it is.
Indulging myself in my life and my music. The word that I'm in is a cul-de-sac. The word that we in is just menacing. The demons
you're not
portray the
expecting
religionist.
what's
I
going
wake
to
in the
come up.
morning, another appointment. I hope the psychologist listening.
Once you feel where one is, this song is going to transform for you because it is just such a badass loop. Now, if I were a betting man, what I would say is he definitely did not write this rap to that loop. I think that he did it over the piano that's further down the line. I think this was an afterthought by some of the producers that were really familiar with these kind of grooves. That's just my guess. I could be totally wrong.
Appointment, I hope the psychologist listening. With black G-Wagon away from it was all for rap. I was 28 years young, 20 million intact.
Notice those triplets are gone. Everything has changed and things are going to change again.
Late reaction, 50K to cousins, post a caption. Pray none of my enemies hold me captive. I grieve different. I grieve different.
We have that Moog playing that very stretchy kind of intervallic thing up and down. And of course we have the hook. I grieve different. This song is pure genius. That one sentiment, I grieve different, is something that everyone feels. There might be some people on this planet that never experience love, but everybody will experience grief at some point. It's a universal message that conjures up something very deep and visceral for all of us when we think about how we have grieved in the past. Okay, that's the only comments I'm making on the lyrics.
I grieve different. I met a
Again, this piano playing has to be Duval Timothy's playing, because Duval is very influenced by minimalism, and this playing sounds like it's right out of that school.
I'm on the third night of Chicago, North America tour, my eye closed.
And now we have background vocals that are going and then they go
P5 from she was a model, dedicated to the songs I wrote in the Bible. Eyes like green penetrating the moonlight, hair done in a bun, energy in the room like Big Bang for theory. God hoping you hear me, phone out the ring.
And then they do at the very end of that phrase, they go
When her daddy in the chain gang, her first brother got killed, he was 21. I was 9 when they put Lamont in the grave. Heartbroken when I still didn't say goodbye. Chad left his
So we have those thirds in the right hand, arpeggiating the chord backwards.
body after we FaceTime. Green Eye said you'd be okay, first tour sex to pain away. I grieve different.
Strings, Moog, strings high.
I grieve different.
Dun. That's another note that's coming in with the strings, in and out.
The new Mercedes with black G-Wagon away from. It was all for rap. I was 28 years young, 20 million in tax. Bought
Beautiful. The voice is going da da da.
a couple of mansions just for practice. 500 in jewelry, chain was magic. Never had it in public. Late reaction, 50K to cousins. Post a caption. So what? Paralyzed, the county building controlled us. I bought a Rolex watch, I only wore it once. I bought infinity pools I never swam in. I watched King buy 4 cars in 4 months.
Kendrick's rhyming scheme and the rhythms that he's using now have, of course, moved away from the almost blocky triplets in comparison.
Pray none of my enemies hold me captive. So what? Paralyzed, the county building controlled us. I bought a Rolex watch, I only wore it once. I bought infinity pools I never swam in. I watched King buy 4 cars in 4 months. You know the family dynamics on repeat. The insecurities locked down on PC. I bought a 223, nobody peace treat. You won't do.
Now, I'm hearing a B natural when the G bass note comes in, and it quickly switches to B flat, but it gives the impression that major or minor, what's going on? Because it was minor going down.
Do me, I smell TNT. Dave got him a Porsche, so I got me a Porsche. Paid lottery for it, I ain't wanted in portions. Poverty was the case, but the money wiping the tears away. I grieve different.
Everybody grieves different. Everybody grieves.
That is very clever comping. To me, it sounds like Duval. Duval, if that's you, I know I keep saying your name, right?
Paid lottery for it, I ain't wanted in portions. Poverty was the case, but the money wiping the tears away. I grieve different.
Everybody grieves different. Everybody grieves different.
I grieve different.
That big portamento. And then the really big fat low notes.
Wait, I grieve different.
Everybody grieves different. Everybody grieves different.
I grieve different.
You ever see a big massive group of birds when they all switch directions and one switches direction and it comes back the other way? That's what these massive portamentos sound like. Moving, soul stirring, just makes you kind of shake your head, and then you have Duval play in the background. As the loop comes down, and these improvisations that he's so brilliant at. I mean, if that doesn't wake you up again at the end. I've listened to it so many times before I wanted to chance my arm and come out here and try to break this down. This is only a small fraction of all of the things that are going on, and I can't tell you how much I really appreciate you coming along on this journey with me. This has been a true labor of love. Thanks a lot, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe and notification bell. I'm trying to build my channel up, and to have people like you as a part of this community really is humbling, and I sincerely appreciate it. Thanks again.